everyone, it's Anya here. I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and today we are making a little pouch. It's like a little drawstring bag, and I use it to just keep some essentials in my handbag so it's not all floating around. I made this one in Scheepjes wool. It was a wool that a friend of mine gave me. And so it's really nice because of the changes in the colour. And yeah, it's a mix of acrylic and cotton, I think this one is. But today I am just going to use plain white, and this is 100% cotton. And on the label of this it says 4, a hook 4. But I'm going smaller, so you must make sure you you know, it might sometimes it makes that the wool splits easier, but I want it nice and tight. I don't want any holes, so that's why I'm going for a smaller hook than what it says on the label. So you cross over your wool like that, or cotton, and that is a start of your magic circle. Then you're going to do 2 chains, so I've already done 1, 2, and now I'm going to do half double crochets into the circle. Like I said, it is easier to split your wool, so your cotton. Look, this is where it's split, so you'll have to just be careful and look out for that, but once it's sort of you're going, it's okay. And you need to do 12 of these. So I've done my 12 half double crochets, and I've already pulled it closer a little bit, so it's already a little bit a circle. And now I'm going to go under the last V, or the first stitch, and I'm going to do a slip stitch. Yes, that's better, gosh, to make it round. Okay, now 1 chain to go up, and then we are going to go and do single crochets all the way around, but we're going to do 2 in each stitch. So this is 1 stitch. This is the first stitch, sorry. I'm going to put this end here over my hook here, so I take it along with me. And this first stitch is my actual first stitch, and I'm doing 2 single crochets in there. Now, the chain I did just now, I'm going to count that chain as the last single crochet of that whole round, so there will only be 1 in there. Okay, so I'm going to go around all the way doing 2 single crochets in every stitch around. I will see you at the end of the row. I have now come to the end of my row, so I've just got that one last one to do, so that's that last stitch, but there's already 1 there, so we're just doing 1 double crochet, single crochet in there, and then you pick up that stitch and you do a slip stitch in there, and there you go. Okay, now as you can tell, I've taken this one along until that sort of, you know, penultimate stitch there, and so I'm going to pull. And although it will also bring the stitches we've just done closer together, it will also still work for these ones as well. Okay, for the middle ones as well. So there we go. So we've got a nice tight middle. Okay, and now we are going to do half double crochets again. So we do 2 chains up. And now we're doing half double crochets. So in the first stitch we're doing 1. Okay, that's the 1 in the first stitch. The second stitch we're doing 2. That's the first one and the second one. Then the next stitch we do 1, and the next stitch we do 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and you keep going all the way around. I have now gone all the way around, and it actually works out that if you come to the end, you've got 1, 2, 1. Then you have those 2 chains that you started with, but you know I count those as the last stitch. So I've got 1 here, and I need to do another one in that last stitch to make it 2 stitches, because that's what we're doing. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then here we have the 1 again. So that has worked out. Now don't worry if it doesn't, just make sure you just close it up. It's not the end of the world. It will all work out. It doesn't really matter. Now we do 1 chain up, and now we are going to do single crochets again. So we do 1 in the first stitch, 1 in the next stitch, and 2 in the third stitch. Then 1, 1, oopsie, lost it there, getting overexcited then. Okay, so 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, oops. Oh well, you know the drift. 1, 1, 2. Okay, I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I've come to the end of my 1, 1, 2, and again it works out. So I've got 1, 1, and then I have here that last stitch that I went up in, so that's already got a stitch in from the chains, and then I'm going to do that up with a slip stitch, so that worked out. So this is the bottom of my bag. Okay, now I'm going to do 2 chains up, and now we're going to do a double crochet into each back loop. So here, so 1 double crochet into the back loop, and it might look a different shape now, but now we are actually starting the upright. Okay, so we've made the bottom, now we're starting the upright. So we're not doing any increases anymore. We just make sure that by using the back loop, we just make sure we sort of change direction almost of our work. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go around now and continue just with 1 double crochet in every back loop. See you at the end. Now I've come to the end of that first upwards row. So I've done a double crochet into all the back loops apart from the last stitch. Okay, now I'm going to do this one in this row. I am going to do, but all the next rows you skip that last stitch. Okay, so we're going to continue on, but every row apart from your bottom one, so I'm going to do it here, but you don't do that one in all the other ones, because you want to make sure you maintain the upwards movement in your work, not going out, certainly. So I've just done a slip stitch as well. So what I want you to do now is, obviously this was a double crochet. Here I used a row of double crochet, then single, double, single, half double. It doesn't matter what you want to do, just as long as you do rows. Okay, each time doing your chain to go up. Okay, but you don't do that last stitch because you want it to go in slightly. You don't want it to go out. You want it to become a nice bag. So here I've done it Where can you see? Look, I have lost, can you see here? Those stitches, it goes that way instead of going straight. I've lost a stitch in every row, one stitch in every row, but you can't tell, but it's made sure that I have a nice shape of my bag. Okay, so do all the stitches apart from the last one and then hook it into, you know, the first stitch with a slip stitch and then continue on with your chains and then off you go again. Okay, now you can make this as high as you want, or as high as you want your bag to be. So I will meet you about there, just in front of what we have to do the drawstring. Hi everyone, so I'm now sort of halfway the height that I want to do, but I just want to stop and talk to you about this project, because it all depends on the thickness of your wool, of your cotton. See, this one is quite thick, and although I have done exactly the same as I did with this one, look how big my drawstring bag is going to turn out. So it's going to be much bigger than than my original one, and much bigger than what I intended. So I also have made this one, which is again much smaller. It is a slightly different pattern, but let me just show you. See, this is that wool. Okay, then we have the really small one, which is this one here, which is a really thin cotton, and I used a 2.5 even for that, I think, because a 3 was too thick. And then we have this one, so it all depends on the thickness of your cotton. Now, I am giving you this particular pattern as a start off, so if you choose your cotton, try it in that. It doesn't take long to make at all, and it's a fun project to make. And then depending on how big this turns out, you can then decide to take out some rows from here, or 1 row or 2 rows. Now the thing is, you still need to do your increases the way I've shown you in each row, but if you differ, so you start with half double crochets, and if you then leave out the single ones and go back to half double crochets in this row with this increase, with the second type of increase, then your thing will be a little bit smaller. Your bottom will be a little bit smaller, and then, you know, you can work it out in a way that your bags are going to be different sizes, but you can only do that once you know how big your bag is going to end up with the particular wool or cotton that you are using. So today I said, you know, just do anything really for the sides, and that's what I did. So the first row is in the back loop, then all the other rows obviously are not in the back loop, are just in the stitch, in the both through both loops. And here I did a combination of double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet. So I thought that was a good combination. Here I did half double crochet, single crochet, half double, single, half double, single. So, you know, and here I just did half doubles, I think. So, you know, it's just a way for you to do this. I'm giving you, you know, there's a lot of freedom here. That's what I'm trying to say. And as you can see here, you might be able to make out this slanted line here. I am losing my stitches, and it is making my bag really nice and tight. It's not, you might think, oh, it's going to close up. It won't. It'll be fine. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to say, and I'm now going to continue so I can show you how to do the holes for the drawstring. Okay, so I have now done 10 rows in my combination of stitches, so that means double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then a last row of double crochets. Now I'm going to show you how to do the openings for the drawstring. So you chain up 3. I've been chaining up 2 for my double crochets, so you might need to chain up 4, we'll see, because obviously in this wool in this cotton things might be different. And then we skip a stitch and you do a half double, a double crochet, and that should make a little hole. So you chain 1, then you skip a stitch, and in the next stitch you do a double crochet. Okay, so we're making little holes now, and this one is not big enough. Okay, so I'm going to take this out, and I am going to do a fourth chain. So that's, maybe you need to do that as well, depending on the wool that you're using. But obviously it's just taking out one little stitch, and or a couple. And this way, let's have a look. Yeah, that's better. Our hole is a little bit better. Now, as you've noticed, I have not done much counting, and it might all go wrong here because you might end up with, you know, not enough. This should be your last double crochet here, but it could be here. But to be honest, it doesn't matter. And once you've got the drawstring in and you're pulling it together, it doesn't matter. So really, this is almost a no count bag. Every time I've made this, I've done it just, you know, without counting, and I've always managed to make this, either my hole was a little bit bigger, or I you know, or it worked out, and then I put the drawstring in, and either it came out in the same hole or in two different holes, but I didn't worry about that. So it's in fact a very nice project, very forgiving. You don't need to count all your stitches all the time, so it's nice to be able to do this once you have the technique of, you know how to do the bottom and stuff. You know, it's something that you can easily take with you and just make another drawstring bag. And you know, how nice would these be with a little present in for Christmas, or even with, if you give money at Christmas time, you know, put the money in there, and a little girl will surely appreciate the drawstring bag, because it can be, you know, a little bag of her little secrets, you know, put little jewelry in or something like that, or even jewelry for a present. It would add greatly to the present, I think. So yes, keep going like this, doing one chain and a double crochet, skipping the stitch each time. So you are now making holes. And look, I'm at the end of my row, and it's working out. So all I need to do is do a slip stitch into that third chain, and I have finished my row. If it doesn't work out and your hole is a little bit bigger, don't worry about it, you know. Just make sure you put your ends in there then, so that, you know, you can fill it up like that. But even if you don't worry. It's not going to be visible once you start using the bag. So now what I generally do is I do the same row as I did below the holes above it as well. So sometimes I'll do a single crochet row before this one, and then I'll do a single crochet row there as well. Okay, so what you do now is you chain up, and then you do one stitch in the hole, and then the next stitch under the V. And I'm doing double crochets because that's what I did before. So this one goes in the hole, and the next one goes in the V. In the hole, in the V. See? And that way you make your row nicely again, and you sort of, you know, you've got nice holes as well. So I'll see you right there. I have gone all the way around, and I've now done a last one in the hole here, and so I'm going to pick up the stitch there to do a slip stitch. There we go. And so this can now be tied off, and now we are going to make the string for the bag. So I'm thinking here I just made one string, and I put it in the holes, alternated it, and you just pull it up and you tie it. For this one I thought I would do 2 strings to pull and close the bag like that. Right, before we start with our strings, obviously, I'm going to show you how to finish this off nicely. I forgot all about that. So cut off your wool and pull it through. Now you have this situation, and what I would like you to do is, yes, if I had a needle, obviously, it would be so handy, wouldn't it? Honestly, I'm going to do something and I don't even have my needle ready. What I do is I use a needle and I go under. So if you put it like that, you see this is the stitch is going to lay over. So I'm going to go into there. Then I'm going to go back to the stitch where it came out of. And then I'm going to put it in there. And that, then when you pull it gently, or not gently, will make an invisible seam. Or as well as good as invisible. And then I sew it in here. It's not so easy because I'm using a sharp needle because this cotton is done quite tightly, obviously because we used a smaller hook. So just pull that through, there we go. Okay, and you can do a bit more around there just to hide it all in. And same for here, we've already taken this with us, so I give it another good tug and it will close up. And I just cut it. Throwing everything about, I cut it off. Okay, so that's our bag finished. I'm just going to cut this off, it's fine. Right, so that's our bag finished. Now on to the strings. Okay, so we're going to make coloured strings. When I was filming the previous bit, I thought, hang on a minute, wouldn't it be nice if we used a coloured bit of wool? So that's what we're going to do. So I found two coloured bits that I have in my stash, which are nearly the same thickness. So we make a slip knot, and all we do is chain. So we're going to do some chaining. And if you want to, you can count your chains here, but I don't think I will be tempted. So I'm just going to be doing this chaining. Oh, that's not going well. Let's make sure you, again, you know, that your wool doesn't split. And I'll see you when you have made two chains in obviously two different colors for me, but or one chain if you just want to do the drawstring like I've shown you. But if you want to do two, yeah, do two chains that are reasonable length. Okay, and I'll see you when you're done those. Okay, so I have done two strings of chains and they're the same length, but I can't really tell you how long they should be for your project because you know, it's all going to depend on your wool. So it needs to be sort of like this almost, okay, on your project then. Then we are going to take these out. I haven't cut them off yet, just to make sure that it is going to be the right thing. So now we're ready to weave in our strings, and I'm going to weave both of them in at the same time. And we will just continue doing this all the way around into each hole. Now I have put both my strings through the holes, and I had 4 ends here hanging out. I've already done to this end what I'm going to do and show you with this end. So first of all, I cut off the cotton, and I'm now going to just simply find my first chain here, go into it whichever way you can really, because sometimes, yeah, and just do a slip stitch to, you know, make a circle basically. So a slip stitch into there and then pull it through, and that's completed your circle here. Now you have these 2 strings, and what I do is I take my needle and I go into the chain. Can you see that? Like this, and I just work my way up. I think I'm just at the back there. Just work your way into the chain. Oh. You know, it was really easy to do that green one. I thought I'll quickly do that one, and then I can show them on the purple one. And guess what? This doesn't want to play. It's typical, isn't it? Now you're doing it in front of the camera, it doesn't want to play. So just going into the chain and working your way up so you can sort of weave in your end like that. Okay, and do this on the other side as well with the other string. Let's see if this one wants to play. And here we go. So you just anywhere basically, and just pull it through a bit more maybe, as it was playing up earlier. There we go. Okay, and then what we will have to do is pull one through. So obviously this is why when it's easy that you have two colors, so you can pull one through, and then we have our drawstring bag. Look at that. You can put in these colors, I would put some flowers maybe around the bottom or something to decorate it, but to be honest, for me, I think this is a lovely little bag, and I think it holds quite a bit. So although I worked with this example, my my version at the moment is quite big. There we go. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Do try it at home. You know, it's an easy one to remember. If you're out and about, you can always make one once you know how to do it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.